So I got a question for you, and you may or may not know the answer to this, but if you don't, it's okay because other people, they know the answers.
Okay.
They're providing their answers to this question.
Okay.
And that question is, who abandoned their core audience and paid the price for it?
Who abandoned their core audience and paid the price for it? Oh, Sarasota Tim.
Oh, I didn't expect you to go that route, but in what way did he abandon his core audience?
So from what I remember, the videos that first started were of him talking about like Social Security and things. Well, when he took off was talking about Social Security and issues with Social Security and how people were getting screwed out of money and, you know, how hard it was to afford living if you were on Social Security and stuff like that, which then pulls in people who are on Social Security. And a lot of times those same people will then listen to you and make the assumption, if not given different information, that you are in the same boat, which is why you can speak on it and which is why you want to talk to them about it.
So how did he pay the price?
By telling everybody he didn't have money problems. By telling everybody he was perfectly fine with money and that Social Security, I think, doesn't.
So who did he abandon?
Technically, he didn't abandon anybody. His audience felt, I don't want to say lied to, but felt some type of way. So technically they abandoned him.
So you're saying that he abandoned his core audience being Social Security?
Being people who probably are living paycheck to paycheck or Social Security check to Social Security check or a certain age group.
It's funny you say that because honestly, I don't know the entire history of his channel, but I would say that he abandoned his core audience of videos before that, being Toyota Tacoma, working at Publix, living in a trailer, travel trailer. He abandoned that core audience by then engaging in conversations about Social Security, which then propelled him into this realm of Social Security content for which he paid the price for by abandoning his core audience, but it allowed his channel to grow and him to gain more subscribers, get more views. I think he had a video over 1 million views, probably pull in some reasonable revenue, ad revenue, possible sponsorship opportunities. But then eventually he did create that video where he said he had to make an announcement to his audience that even though he's on Social Security, even though he lives in a travel trailer, he's still good with money.
So then in theory, his core audience should not have had an issue with him.
Well, I didn't say they did. I asked who abandoned their core audience and paid the price for it. So essentially, he's paying the price for it now by having to break the news to the new audience because he abandoned his core audience for which the channel was based on.
That's true.
Which the channel is still pretty much the same. I mean, he still makes random videos about his day and his life and the things that he does and how he makes money and things that interest him. But he did have to pay a price by losing his core audience, growing so fast, then breaking the news to them, and now ultimately kind of backsliding to more reasonable views for the content that he's creating, which honestly, the content that he grew off of, which was Social Security content that, you know, he lit a fire under the YouTube algorithm with, is he in order to maintain that, he would have had to chase that.
That's true.
He would have had to chase that and further satisfy and you know, for those who subscribe to his channel, subscribing to his channel based on a video.
True.
They found the video that was fed to them on their homepage or suggested or recommended up next by YouTube. They then subscribe based on that video. Only to then later on find out, hey, I thought you were a Social Security guy, and he's like, no.
Just because that's the video you came in on doesn't mean I'm a Social Security guy.
Yeah. So in essence, he really didn't abandon his core audience.
It's just the new audience didn't know the core.
Well, YouTube decided to pick a Social Security video to light him up with.
Well, so that's always been my issue with things when people make comments on videos. and they say these things. It's like, well, you came in on this video. Did you bother before saying anything or making up your mind? Did you watch any videos before this one to see anything? And a lot of people don't.
I don't think I have it in me to subscribe to a channel off of a video.
I've never done it, and I never will.
I can't subscribe. There's no way I could subscribe to a channel that I actually think I may like based off of a video without then pulling back and looking over their channel, maybe watching a few others or beginning to watch a few others before deciding I want to subscribe.
Yeah.
Now, there is an exception to that.
Okay.
I am subscribed to the Editing Podcast, and I am subscribed to Colin and Samir. And there's a reason why. And the reason is because Nate mentioned them, and I looked them up and I subscribed so I wouldn't forget. But I hadn't even watched them yet.
But once you go through and watch them, you could also unsubscribe if you decide that that's not content that is beneficial or helpful.
So I subscribe. I think the reason why I subscribe to channels is completely different than anybody else.
Most people, yeah.
Jack Conte, CEO of Patreon, after I watched his video explaining that I showed you yesterday how
That's still one of
content
the
is
best videos
changing,
I've ever seen. Yeah.
it's an amazing video.
It's such a good video.
I subscribed to him. I'm like, I didn't know you had a YouTube channel. I didn't even know who you were. So until I got this update that Patreon was evolving for the better. So I subscribed to him. I like Kevin Chi and what he talks about as far as YouTube content creation. So I subscribe to him. Abba and Preacher on here. But Abba and Preacher more so that I can be reminded of their new uploads and kind of what they're talking about.
Because they're not on a certain schedule.
Because before I would just look them up.
Yeah.
But now, like I told you yesterday, I wanted my feed to give me things that I want to see.
And that helps if you're subscribed to channels.
Yes.
If you're not, then it probably, I don't think looking things up really gives the algorithm an idea of what you like. Because if you look it up and don't subscribe, they probably think, oh, well, guess that's not what you want because you didn't take it a step further.
And it's really more about Instagram because Instagram was feeding me a bunch of garbage.
That too.
John Uche, former YouTube employee. I don't remember why I subscribed to him. Now, here's an interesting one. We're going to talk about these guys in a minute. The McFarlands, which I don't know if you watched the shorts that I sent you from the McFarlands, but after watching...
Is that a married couple?
No.
Oh.
I think I need like 4 shorts before I'm like, okay, I can do this. And the McFarlands did that. And I ended up subscribing after I watched their shorts, much like Olima Omega, after I watched a few of his shorts, the black guy in the gym that makes these ridiculous shorts making fun of other people's.
When did you send me the McFarland ones? Has it been a while?
2 or 3 days ago, maybe.
On Messenger?
Yeah.
I'll have to check because I don't remember seeing those.
And it's like, all right, if it's like 4 and they all hit the mark, I'm like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah.
One of the cool things about the McFarlands is that they actually show people how they make these cool shorts, which just sealed the deal for me. And Swell Entertainment, found her randomly, but I like what she was doing, what she was saying, so I subscribed.
She's one who has the titles, and she always makes a face in her thumbnails.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes me want to go watch New Girl for some reason, because she makes turtle face like Nick does in New Girl.
Myron Golden. Took me a while to even watch his videos, but I'm glad that I did.
I don't know who that is.
I got somebody on here from the desk of Amy Suto, which probably nobody knows who that is because she doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but she did create videos and is documenting her journey of growing her Substack.
Is she doing it from a desk?
Probably. I think she's more of like I think so, but I think she also travels and works remote.
Because the name immediately makes me think of like news and bringing you stuff like from the desk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but her Substack, like what she's doing, is super niche. Okay. So it's like
I'll have to check it out.
Only a few people are going to be interested in it. I get it. Amala Ekpanobi, which you were you followed PragerU, but you weren't following her on Instagram, which you fixed that.
Fix that.
And I'm trying to see who else I got. Alex Hormozy. I watched a few of his. I'm like, all right, you got me. I'm in here.
Jenny, you have, what was her name? Jenny Hoyos?
No. Oh, wait, yeah. She's right there. She is.
You should have her.
No, she is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been there for a while. Since we met her at Bid Summit.
It's Daniel Mack. He interested me.
What does he do?
Hey, can I ask you what you do for a living?
Okay.
How do you How'd you make money? How'd you buy this? Whistling Diesel, he's just hilarious. Cody Sanchez, Donut. I don't even know if anybody knows who Donut is.
When you said Mac, I thought about the guy who does the rapping things, where you're like
Harry Mack.
Harry Mack, yes. You give me 3 words and he raps it out.
I got Joshua Mayo. I got Hugs for a Broken Heart and Texas Meemaw in upstate New York. And that's Kim. She's a member on Patreon. She's got 2 channels going. E_aught, which is really strange, but I think like they're in Japan and they have really cool car videos.
Well, obviously car videos. So then you have that other guy too.
And their videos start off with all the cars pulling out of their garage, but it would make it seem like they have a 100-car deep garage, but it's just cool editing.
Yeah. So it makes you think of that Fast and the Furious scene. Well, not. Is that from the first one?
Yeah, that was actually from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, Too Fast, Too Furious, where they'll pull out of the warehouse.
And I got some other channels on here that I'm subscribed to because they are accounts that I manage and I help and I teach and I mentor and I coach. But it takes a lot for me, like to trigger me to want to subscribe. Jay Klaus got a subscription because I found him from John Uche. But again, my interest in watching and viewing YouTube is completely different than most. But my interest in watching YouTube is from a creative. And these channels are creative people. And I want to learn from them. Oh, I got the David Bolin. I'm jumping around here on my list, but I got the David Bolin, all one word, which we've actually started communicating more on Instagram, and that's pretty cool.
That's good.
The reason why is because mainly I love his content, but I hate how few views he gets for the content that he creates.
I'm glad we're talking about subscriptions because I subscribe to people from my main channel and then I forget, and just looking at the things I'm subscribed to, a couple days I'm probably like, meh, and I could easily boot out. And then there's other names that I don't see that I know I look up and I'm like, well, why aren't you here? So I might need to do a little subscription tweak.
So the actual, I honestly, who abandoned their core audience and paid the price for it, I didn't expect you to go that route on YouTube, but then I did expect you to go that route on YouTube, and possibly you say me, Kevin.
I contemplated that.
But that's a whole nother topic of discussion for Patreon, which we will definitely dive into that over there. But this was actually the answers from this question from the general public.
And so are they talking YouTube or they're talking people in general?
It's an open question.
Tell me the question one more time. I might have a second guess.
Who abandoned their core audience and paid the price for it?
Who abandoned their core audience and paid it? Did people say Biden?
No. I knew you were going to say that. But then I would say, instead of Biden, I'd say CNN.
That was my next, yeah.
I'd say Fox News.
I would say both of them also, yeah.
But honestly, Animal Planet. They say Animal Planet. It says their tagline became surprisingly human. Nobody wants to watch Animal Planet for people. They have other channels for that.
MTV.
MTV used to be music videos.
Television, and now it's just.
This was back in like the 90s where I was disappointed that MTV was showing shows.
Oh yeah.
And I wanted
Singled
music.
Out and Real
wanted
World.
music.
Yeah, same. And now I don't think they even play music on there anymore unless it's like 2:00 in the morning, and because they used to do the Unplugged and all that stuff. But now it's just.
It's funny you say that because one of the comments here says that all those channels converged on the same bottom of the barrel reality show drivel.
Mm-hmm. Yep. TLC, MTV, even.
Next up. So I got a website here, cracked.com. I don't even know what that is.
Hopefully it's nothing bad since you said it out loud.
It's got, stumbled upon. It was a small website giving you randomized internet pages. Etsy. Used to be a fairly cool place to buy and sell mostly handcrafted stuff and items to make handcrafted stuff. And now it's basically shady Amazon with worse shipping.
Yep, because everything on there is straight from China now. Like if you look at it, since there's all this new ways to basically sell and print on demand.
Well, it says it here.
Etsy,
everyone seems to be drop shippers, and a lot of the more niche crafter artisans things are pushed out and overwhelmed by cheaper mass-produced goods. So, again, Sarasota Tim. If he wanted to continue riding that wave, he needed to continue to put out cheap, mass-produced goods of videos satisfying the audience for Social Security. The audience searching for answers in Social Security that maybe he could potentially provide, but the crafters, or we're going to replace that with creators, the artisans, those who are actually creating, theirs get pushed out and overwhelmed by the cheap garbage and trash, which pretty much sums up YouTube and their new changes to the algorithm over the last 10 months.
Fully agree.
We got, let's see here, a few more sci-fi channels on the list.
Understandably.
Interestingly enough, somebody says OnlyFans.
Well, the core audience, I think when OnlyFans started, was supposed to be for, chefs and fitness instructors and all this other stuff where they could get paid for what they're doing instead of putting up their stuff for free on Instagram, or if they didn't want to do YouTube videos, but they wanted to have like a membership style thing outside of like Patreon or something. That's what it was supposed to be for. And then it was overtaken by...
But this one actually says when they briefly banned certain material, they were like, that's your entire business model.
But in the beginning, it wasn't.
Yeah, true. JCPenney changed their stores for about 12 years ago to go after a cooler audience. Turns out the cool kids didn't want to shop there, and loyal JCPenney shoppers didn't want it to anymore either. And they've been trying to undo this for years, but still obviously struggling.
Well, JCPenney, it used to be you could go there and get clothes for kids or teenagers, and they were decent. And then you started going, and it was trash from like Alibaba and Shein and whatever else. And then like the most inappropriate clothing for little kids I've ever seen in my entire life. I would just go through JCPenney at the mall, just walk through and going, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And just to remind myself that there's people out there designing that kind of stuff for kids.
Were the homecoming looks inappropriate?
This year? Oh, our kid's not walking out like that. I tell you that much. Like
as we approach, I'm like, I understand what's going on. I could evaluate the situation to then discuss later, but then I could also be seen as that creepy old guy who's staring at...
Well, the problem is half the girls that are 16, 17, 18 dressing to go to homecoming are dressed like they're 21 and trying to go get a job at a strip club. And that was the issue.
If that's all they can get in the store...
That's not all they can get, but that's either the shortest of the short where you can't even cough hard because your whole butt's going to fall out versus the ones that are floor length and you're dragging it behind you. It's very hard to find a middle of the road.
But the schools don't care if your butt hangs out even like during regular like dress. They don't care.
It used to be it can't go past your fingertips kind of, or be shorter than your fingertips kind of thing. And now it's like, good luck, because you can't find anything like that.
So another one here says MTV, as we said, loved watching music videos and the occasional news behind the music. Who was that guy? He had that, Kurt Loder.
Yep.
Behind the music, etc. But their main focus was music videos. Then, for some insane reason, they ditched their tried and true format and became a reality show nightmare.
Yep.
They lost it all. I don't even know if MTV is still around. But this one, I don't have any experience with whatsoever. But it's interesting because they break it down. The restaurant that opens in the UK goes through this cycle. Number one, new and interesting food, very different, and mostly British food. 2, becomes very popular. 3, owners sell to a large company. 4, large company decides to bring that being popular isn't enough. They want everybody to eat there. 5, the food... they make the food more British. 6, looming failure is hidden for a while because they attract new customers at exactly the rate they lose old customers. 7, new customers have tried it, realize they can get that food anywhere, stop going. 8, chain closes and is replaced by a Greg's or Nando's, depending on the size of the location, not depending on how far away the nearest Greg's or Nando's is. So, okay, number 1 was very different from British food. And then number 5 is make it more British. It's like more of the same.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly enough, we tried Louisiana lagniappe.
Yeah.
And it's hidden. You kind of, if you know, you know.
The push for it is because it's fresh Gulf food, which is also why it has the prices it does. It's not,
high price.
It is high price, but so is Beauchamp's. It is along the same lines as Beauchamp's. It's the same Gulf caught food as Beauchamp's. I think the service was actually better than Beauchamp's. Like, I thought the service was really good.
I just wasn't super
The food-
impressed with the food.
Me either. I wouldn't go there again. Like I liked what I got. It was
And
spicy.
Beauchamp has a much better building.
Much
and
better building
setup,
and
flow.
setup. Yeah. But the downside was the menu didn't mention the spiciness of everything, and the waiter didn't mention when
If
ordered
it's
either.
Louisiana, do you have to assume? You have to assume this?
Maybe, possibly.
Cajun?
Maybe that's on me.
Maybe?
Maybe that's on me.
Assuming that people know Louisiana and
Yeah.
the style of food. And
Yeah.
that's a big assumption there.
Yeah. I mean, it was not the best food. It was not the worst food, but for the price that it was not my. It wasn't worth it to me.
It's like, was it? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yeah, but I mean, we went
Ultimately-
because a friend was going, and it was a send off kind of thing. So
It was the last of times because I'm not going
yes,
back.
no, I'm not going to go either.
Welcome everybody back to the channel.
74 minutes in
Or
for the first time ever.
well, or for the first time, back for the first time, Luda. Make sure you go check us out on Patreon, and there will be a link below in the description for the Squirrel Tribe and Kevin the podcast Patreon. Make sure you come check us out. Make sure you jump in the free community live chat that we got going on there. Make sure you download the Patreon app.
Oh, it really is different now. I realize that, and even on the computer, I was like, oh, this is fancy. They've done some stuff.
Yeah, they've been talking about this for months on
Yeah.
emails.
They're like, we're gonna kick.
But
this
they've
thing
been actually doing stuff, like doing good things.
Yeah.
And I think quite possibly learning from all the bad things that YouTube's doing, which is great for them.
Great for them.
Great for them, great for the creators, great for the community, because ultimately, just like these restaurants in the UK that gets sold and bought out by the big companies and ruined.
Mm-hmm. You got to think Instagram used to be great when it first started, and then Facebook bought it, and now it's just another crapshoot.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. Now, I don't actually have what we need to have, which was pen and paper or an iPad. But in the future, you got your phone.
I got my iPad.
In the future,
Okay.
maybe because I was watching Colin and Samir, and they had notes. But I think it's going to be important as we do this more, and especially as we bring on different guests, that we have that ability, because we're going to have a lot that we hear and think that we need to have down to then come back to later without talking over everybody.
Yeah.
But then also for later to then do deep dives and then develop the continuation, the future of the content.
Now, the guest that you wanted to bring on for tomorrow, I don't know what route you were going to go there, but now we have a whole new route we can go there
Well,
because there's a lot.
honestly, I wanted to go the route of business owners.
And now I want to go the route of health and how do you feel and what is this like?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to take some time before we can ask
Yeah,
for
those
that.
questions, yeah.
But who knows? Maybe today, while we're out on the water, we can brainstorm and send some text messages and see if we can find somebody else to join us tomorrow. But ultimately, I was extremely inspired by Colin and Samir and a lot of these other creatives and who they bring and the conversations that they have and the talks and discussions that they engage in. Because even with Colin and Samir, Samir was like, I need to elevate and step my game up so I can have profound questions to ask these geniuses. And you don't really.
Yeah, you don't. You
Let
need to
them
be able
talk.
let them talk. You
Let
don't
them
have to
talk.
ask.
If you can get into the mindset of your audience, which should already be there because they've subscribed to you for a reason, ask the questions that they would ask.
Yeah.
Ask the questions that you would think that they would want to know the answers to. So essentially, I want to bring that.
Yeah.
Not just me doing research and putting together videos and all this. I'm bringing you people who have done things, who are doing things that can share their story.
Yeah.
And they have a really good story to tell. And it's forever growing and changing. So, but we have so many other people that we can reach out to. So we will make that happen.
Very true.
Now, did you need to go do something? Okay. So I had a list of videos that I wanted to react to.
Okay.
And I was thought about going down that path of reaction, and which we could probably still do on Patreon. Absolutely. We can definitely do on Patreon.
Yeah.
But YouTube is cracking down on reused content. So much, it's just crazy because I came across this guy today. I think his name was Rowdy, and he got he's got a crazy story to tell. But ultimately, I don't want to use anybody's content but my own.
Yes.
Plain and simple. So
I think that YouTube doing that is better for the creators because so many creators are getting screwed out of their views because they're going somewhere else.
You know, you're right, but what I'm seeing is that YouTube is enforcing this incorrectly through AI, which they're so excited about AI, and they are harming the creators that have done nothing wrong while letting everyone else off the hook who are blatantly stealing everybody else's content.
Yeah.
Relabeling it reaction.
Yeah.
So there's my issue. And then, you know, I shared that channel with you today, which I don't remember her name. Do you remember her name? What I said her channel name was?
The one you sent me?
I got it right here.
Okay.
And it was, or at least I thought I had it right here. Aaron on Demand.
Yes.
And this was a video that she put up 2 days ago where her experience going to New York and getting a chance to talk to Neil Moen, the CEO of YouTube. And he's rolling out all these new products and features for YouTube. And he asked her, he says, well, what are you most excited about? And she said, the AI tool that can help you understand and identify what your audience is interested in, which to me kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'm sure our audience has tons of interest, but should we really be chasing their interest, or should we be chasing our interest? And if they align and mesh, come watch the videos.
I would much rather have the align and mesh, but I think the way she's looking at it is from in order to get more views, because it will get sent to more people as opposed to a niche crowd.
No, you're right though, because if my audience's interest is making more money, that's good. But how? Oh, they're interested in making more money by getting working remote. Okay. All right. Well, then that helps me
Niche down.
Not bring you content on how to make more money by other ways, and bring you content from my perspective, in my opinion, in my reality of working remote. But he goes, that's surprising. This is crazy. The CEO of YouTube says, that's surprising that's your favorite feature that's rolling out. And she goes, well, what did you expect it to be? He goes, I really hoped it was going to be the new Dream Screen AI creation for Shorts, where you can literally, they've been working on this for a while and years. And it was some other company that YouTube probably bought out to get this tech where you can literally tell it. It was actually Dolly. Dolly would do this in still formats, but now they're doing it in video. And you can literally say, I want to, see a panda drinking coffee, and AI will create that video.
Where's the fun in that?
I want to see, a mermaid on the moon doing a moonwalk, a backflip or whatever, and it can make it. But here's the worst part about it is that he says, everybody I've asked said that the AI audience interest tool is their favorite, and none of them care about the Dream Screen AI tool. And he assumed and thought that it would be. And he is the leader. He is the leader, and he is so out of touch with the creator, it's not even funny.
What's even worse is what he is excited about, and what he wants creators to be excited about is something where they never have to create again, where it makes us obsolete.
It's funny you say that, because you're absolutely right, but there is a catch. There's a catch here, because here's the catch. If you build content and a channel off of AI, YouTube won't pay you for it.
That's what I was going to say.
They won't pay you for it.
So those shorts, it's just free for them to put advertisements in that you will never make money on.
But here's the catch. If you use their tools, they will pay you for it. However, you have to pay them to use their tools. Yes. Yeah. So that's a whole nother can of worms that we would have to get
Patreon
into.
Is like, we need to step our game up, because soon there will be way more people here than on YouTube.
That's another topic we got to get into, because essentially you could create content. You could create a channel with AI by literally just giving it a command, maybe even a few commands, so that it can continuously then recreate based on the results. But YouTube has its technology in place to determine AI created content that they won't monetize. But if your content's not monetized, it doesn't really matter because your content can still reach an audience and can still serve a purpose and it can still help you make money.
Very true.
But not only is the man in charge not in tune with what the creators actually really want, which probably means he has no clue what the audience really wants.
Yeah.
If you want to use their tools, you have to pay them.
Well, that's like Twitter. If you want to have the blue check now, you have to pay for it. Whereas before,
It's X.
Sorry,
ma'am.
It's the thing with the bird or the X. I don't even know if it has a bird anymore. I don't even know what it is. But before, you got a blue check by just verifying who you were. Now, if you want it, you have to pay for it. So anybody could be anybody as long as you're willing to give them money.
You know, and that is another problem because most of the crowd out there doesn't know. They don't know who anybody really is because of that very reason. Anybody could be anybody.
Exactly.
And I will say, depending on what side, maybe like there's 4 quadrants, maybe 5, let's say 4 quadrants of YouTube. Depending on which quadrant you fall in, you are so far off from the truth. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
And then if you fall into the quadrant that I gravitate towards as far as knowledge, learning, and education from peers in the space, trying to better the space, trying to better the experience, those folks are real.
Yeah.
They're real. They're almost too real.
Yeah.
Like, don't meet your heroes.
Don't meet your heroes, yeah.
Because it's like, oh, my favorite YouTuber or one of my favorite YouTubers doesn't write his own scripts and he doesn't edit his own videos, even though he tells people how to do it.
Yeah.
But he was so real that he told us that.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, damn.
So now you're like, well, I guess I'll still watch. But
yeah, it's like finding out.
Way.
It's like finding out your favorite chef is just throwing stuff in the microwave. Like, it's like
opening cans of Chef Boyardee and calling it something else.
So I had these videos I wanted to react to. One of them was Simply Simona buying 10 acres in the desert, and another video, shopping in Vegas. With the question that I had for myself was, who am I subscribing to? But we'll have to go a little bit deeper on that because the reason being is because it's funny because I found the first video that was thrown on my home screen of buying 10 acres in the desert. Interesting topic. Why would you want to do that? It's a barren wasteland, basically. It's dry and, 10 acres. It's a lot of land. What are we doing here? So I click on it. I see a little bit, and it's like, wow, she spent a lot of time doing her face and her hair and her eyes and everything. And then her little daughter, too. It's like, this could be misconstrued here, according to YouTube, and how you use children. But just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Little sketch.
Okay.
Some of the. Anyway, the next video is shopping in Vegas. So basically, like I said, I'm not going to subscribe to you off of one video.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to subscribe to you because you bought 10 acres in the desert. But I was curious. I was intrigued. How did that video do so well? And what is likely to happen with the shopping in Vegas video? Like, what is this channel?
Yeah.
How have you been successful? This ultimately how any channel really is how I'm trying to analyze them. And
how old is the kid?
she's probably under 10.
With full makeup?
I don't know. I can't say that for sure.
I'll
but
say pageant moms are like that.
I can't say that for sure, but
that's why I have an issue with so many pageant shows on TLC, because it's all little kids parading around in makeup and tiny outfits.
I can't say that for sure, but I didn't like watch like that, but I did notice a few things that kind of like made me save it because I wanted you to see it and we'd go through it together, right?
Okay.
So 11 months ago, granted, 11 months ago is a lifetime in YouTube,
yeah.
time. They got 337,000 views on buying 10 acres in the desert.
Okay.
Which is interesting because why is YouTube now showing this video to me 11 months later on my homepage? They have 75,000 subscribers, similar to my channel now. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Like what's working?
Yeah.
You know? So that was 11 months ago. So then I go to the channel. It's like driving to Las Vegas. Let's go shopping for home decor. And let's go shopping in Vegas is on the thumbnail. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. 'Cause this is only 7 days.
It's all about buying.
It's only 7 days ago. 5,300 views. Didn't light the world on fire in comparison to 337,000. But there is a trend on this channel that works. And if they were to stay with that, they would stop abandoning their core audience, and they would continue to grow and do well. But they would also be feeding the machine, feeding the monster, and they are mixing it up with what they choose to make or want to make versus what they feel like they have to make. But maybe that's the big difference. Maybe it was, I looked at a video that was 11 months old, and then I looked at a video that was recent, and that's why I wasn't sure who I was subscribing to, because she looked different. She looked different.
Okay.
So maybe that was it.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that until now, that there was such a time gap in between there. But we'll do a full reaction to
That much of a difference in visual in 11 months?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It was like Melanie.
Weight loss or weight gain?
It's just different.
Okay.
It's just different.
Because that's for me. I look back on videos from 11 months ago and I'm like,
no.
weight gain now.
No. This was a difference of preparation to create the video and dolled up, or whatever you might want to call it. Like I mentioned with Melanie King, and I was like,
as soon as she got rid of that hair, changed it.
Yeah.
And as soon as the lady's not dolled up anymore, there goes her views.
Unfortunately for Melanie King, I think it was a combination of the hair and the loss of Kevin Samuels.
I was going to say no more Kevin Samuels. She has nothing to...
Well, they were friends.
I know.
So, but anyway, next up was Cara and Nate, which I didn't actually get a chance to do my research on this before we started, but we did end up watching their most recent upload with the band live surprise. And the surprise is, I'm just playing, I'm not going to give you a spoiler, but I wanted to go to the Wayback Machine and check the exact date when they made this change. But they have a video, which we know that they have a new editor. We know they have new format and style and way that they're going about creating. And we don't really love it. We don't really love it. And there's a video on the channel now, recent video that says, "Why do people hate this country?" Exactly. Yeah, that face you're making. That's not Cara and Nate.
No.
Why do people hate this country? Do you know why they did that?
So people will go, what? And click on it.
No. Because whoever's running that show now, back behind the scenes, is saying to themselves, well, we're seeing a lot of hate and negativity floating around YouTube that seems to be working.
Yeah.
Let's call it, why do people hate this country?
And it's not even this one they're talking about, is it? It's probably a different one.
This being the country that they were in when they recorded it.
Yeah.
But it also kind of goes back to what it was titled before.
Is that the one where they got rid of Christmas?
Yes. So that underperformed.
So they changed it.
For a variety of reasons, in my opinion.
Because that was the most political they've ever been in a video.
It was, but there's a variety of reasons why inside the video it was like underperforming. And then the title and thumbnail, I'm like, wait, they never mentioned Christmas. And then they changed it. So in my opinion, whoever they've got doing this is now chasing the algorithm.
So what that means is this is why we're seeing videos from 11 months ago sometimes, maybe from a year ago, because people are going through and changing their titles from old things to try to get them renewed, if you will.
But they're chasing.
Are they chasing?
No,
or is whoever they're paying to do these things chasing?
Well, somebody is.
Yeah.
They're chasing an algorithm pushed and controlled by a CEO of a company
that
who
doesn't
has
understand
no clue.
The audience or the creators.
No clue.
How do you have a company you don't even understand half of the company? If you don't understand the creators, you cannot understand the audience. And if you don't understand the audience, you can't understand the creators because they work together.
He brought the creators
it's a cohesive thing.
into New York to tell them all the great things they're doing. When are they bringing the creators in to ask them
what they need,
what they should be doing, instead of only following TikTok's foot-shadow, which, if you want to get into it, the CCP is controlling it. Oh, wait, this is a great way to destroy YouTube because YouTube is going to just follow us.
Yeah.
We'll just lead you down the wrong path to destruction.
Well, it used to be, we're going to ban TikTok because TikTok in China doesn't do it at all like they do here.
No.
The stuff that we allow here, they would never allow there. It's not. And the YouTube's going to end up being...
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting.
No, yeah. So, it's funny because I was watching Think Media, and Think Media brought on some guy to talk about how he made $80,000 in a year from his YouTube channel with no editing.
Okay.
But then later on in his podcast, they're like, so you crossed over the 10,000 video mark.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. So then I look at this guy's channel. He actually has 2. I'm like, okay, he's doing what everybody else is doing. He's not doing it really good. Why did they choose to bring him on to this podcast to talk to him? They must know him. Or maybe he paid them to get the exposure on their podcast. But then I'm looking at Think Media podcast and I'm thinking to myself, well, why is this one doing so much better than all the other ones? And then deep within the podcast, the host, I don't know his name, the guy who wears the light stonewashed denim jacket, he asks, so as an economist, what do you think, that's this guy's background, is going to happen come next election? Like, what?
They hid the politics in there.
I don't watch Think Media that much.
Yeah.
But he threw politics into this podcast for creators, mentioning Biden, Trump. And I'm like, that's probably what did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the spike was towards the end of the video, where you can see the little graph on the bottom. Oh, got it. Okay. I'm done here. Thank you. Because this is not what I thought it was. And you telling his story is like, it's inspiring and encouraging for people to get out there and start creating content. But 10,000 videos.
That's a lot.
To make 80,000.
Yeah.
Like,
that's,
as an economist,
yeah.
There's far more useful ways to spend your time.
Yeah.
Next up on the list was the piano guy gets justice.
I don't know what that means.
Is he pressing charges? This is the decoy voice. We're going to react to this fatherless behavior and the results in internet doxing that I share with you. I didn't share with you the piano guy. I share with you something.
The guy with the...
Oh, the guy driving down the boardwalk, drinking and driving down the boardwalk. But we'll save those for Patreon because honestly, I don't want to do them here.
Because you're going to let me go buck wild with it?
Yeah, okay. I don't want to hold back. I want to go all in. So
I'm going to use adult language.
Yeah, you should.
Because we're all adults here.
There was I made this disclaimer here after we had brunch. I made this disclaimer to put in one of my videos because we saw it on the screen, but I modified it so that it would work for me. I loved that disclaimer too. Yeah, so that I had to put that up, but it's like if you're over there, just let's be adults here. Yeah. The other thing is that I thought about dropping the F-bomb at least once in every video, no matter what.
Well, fuck, do it.
There you go. Because technically, you can
just
still
don't do it the first 8 seconds.
The first 8 seconds, and you can still be PG-13 with 1.
Yep, just like in the movie.
So
anytime I watch a PG-13 movie, I'm always waiting for the one that they drop.
So, but I do want to react to the McFarlands. It's specifically the video of how they made their dad fly away in a helicopter, because that was really funny.
I don't think you sent me anything.
When we leave here, you got to watch the McFarlands. They are hilarious. It's like Seinfeld today because it's real life humor of things that could happen.
Dry humor?
No, yeah.
Because in the beginning, I didn't understand Seinfeld. I remember watching Seinfeld and I was like, it's not what, because I was young. You got to
be over like 35 right now to find the McFarlands funny. Because
Seinfeld, I tried to watch when I was early 20s and it wasn't funny to me. And then after, we've been married for a while and whatever else, and you've got a kid and you've got life, and then it's like, oh, this shit's hilarious. Like, no,
the McFarlands are right there. Yeah. But you got to be a certain point in your life to find it funny, to understand it, like have been down that road. Okay. But then the dad, he like makes it, the dad.
This is not the best comparison, but I guess it's like this show I used to watch, Mama's Family. I don't think you could be from the North and find it funny because it's the most Southern thing in the entire world.
I found it funny when I lived in New York.
Really?
Yeah.
I loved Mama's Family.
Yeah. And I was little.
I was about to say you were little.
I think my brain was too advanced. So I did find these shows funny. So
that's why you like the Southern girl.
When I shouldn't. It's like, you're too young to find that funny. I'm like
the kid. Funny. Yeah.
But what do you think are the best and worst parts about YouTube right now as a creator and also as a viewer?
Okay, so as a creator, the best part is that I have the ability to create and put stuff out there. Like, that's the best part. I can make what I want to make and put it out there, and either it'll get views, or it'll get monetization, or it'll get something. Like, I like the ability to, I don't know if it's really create for me because it's me talking and whatever, but I like the fact that I have the ability to do that, which then helps me connect with people.
I will say it is creating because you have specific, like, I'm going to do my research and I'm going to do it this way. Mm-hmm. That's how you, like, I don't care what anybody else is doing or what anybody else is talking about. So yours is a more mild process. Yeah. But it's still yours.
So that's where the whole, as a viewer, what do I like? I can't answer that because I'm not a viewer of YouTube. And the reason I'm not,
you like Cara and Nate?
I like Cara and Nate. What I'm going to say is I'm not a viewer of YouTube in the sense of anything I make or...
Well, but we do make Cara and Nate type content on another channel.
So my main channel, I don't watch anything that my audience watches on my main channel, which I know is weird because a lot of people would say you have to look at what your competition is doing, but I don't look at myself as having competition because nobody does stuff like me, and I don't want to do stuff like anybody else, so I don't watch them, so that there's never any worries of somebody thinking that I did something like them. If they do something like me, I'll never know because I'm not watching your shit. You know what I mean? Like, so there's that. But I think the hardest part of being a creator on YouTube right now is, well, it's twofold. One, in order to be seen by more, you have to be willing to do what the algorithm wants, and I'm not willing to do what the algorithm wants, therefore I'm not seen by more. But the other downside to YouTube, in my opinion, are the people who forget that manners are a thing, and they leave comments that they would never say to your face because they know they get immediately throat punched.
Well, I will say that when you're in that quadrant of that type of content that you say you wouldn't even watch yourself, those people thrive in those environments.
And that's the problem, because the kind of stuff I like to make, I don't know how to move that style into a different kind of niche and it be effective.
Yeah, I understand. That's why, again, we have to have a much longer, in-depth conversation. But my main channel, this channel, was such a challenge. You know? Yeah. Because like once you turn the camera on, you know where you are and what you're doing.
And it puts you in a different mental state.
So yeah, but beauty of why we have so many other channels to break free of that. But then also when you get there, you're like, let me be so much different than over there so that they don't end up
melding. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but again, man, this is why I like listening to creative people and their own challenges and struggles, but also why I want to do this and talk to people. Yeah. I'm talking to you right now. They're listening. I'm talking to you.
And the dog is huffing at people.
I'm talking to you because there's a difference. Like Alex Hormozy and Layla Hormozy and a few others are like, we're done direct to camera.
Well,
we're done direct to camera.
Because, I like this. Yeah. This is fun for me.
Yeah, and for sure. And I think we're definitely getting deeper into the weeds here with what really important discussions and conversations on a more organic level. But wait till we bring on more people.
Now, I also feel like being here, we stay focused on here, and it keeps your mind in a certain area as opposed to focusing on the future possible comments or the future whatever.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah. So, and that's essentially why we're doing this, because as a live, you're not there 100% because you're in the chat. Yeah. So it changes things.
It does.
So, with that being said, also, this video is not going to have comments turned on either.
Which I like.
Because I know people will not love that, but for me, I gotta turn them off. It can't be all held. Yeah. I just gotta turn them off.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, sometimes you have to. There's nothing, people talk about mental health all the time, but they forget that creators need it too. And in order to do that, sometimes you have to, unfortunately, I don't want to use the words drown out the audience, but sometimes it is what it has to be. You have to turn them off, and you can't how to phrase it. You can't always have a say in everything. Like I can hear a conversation between two people. I can't just walk up to them and butt in and give my opinion or whatever else. And they're not going to turn to me and go, okay, tell us everything that you're thinking about what you just heard. So sometimes you need the ability to just step back and go, oh, I want to say things so bad, but.
So, I think that Patreon is going to be that much more effective.
I agree.
So that we can have that dialogue over there in general for what we're discussing versus random trolls showing
Bots
up on a
and things like
video
that.
to drop a comment just to try to rank up.
Yeah.
Because that's it.
That's what it is.
There's no reward on Patreon for having the worst comment. Whereas on YouTube, the reward for having the worst comment is you go to the top.
Yeah.
It's like, look at me.
Yeah.
Give me a gold star because I said the worst thing possible and everybody liked it. Everybody gave it a thumbs up.
Well, that's even worse. If they said the worst thing possible and people gave it a thumbs up, I don't want those people either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but there's no reward for that on Patreon.
Yeah.
And ideally, Patreon would be only for those who are interested in engaging in these conversations.
I was going to say, how many people are going to want to come over there to crap on people? I mean, there may be some who just have.
Well, we block them too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, we'll block. But, it's going to be a very, very free environment for you to express yourself.
Yeah.
But not just to be a damn dick.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to leave the comments off. If you want to comment, feel free. Come on over to Patreon. If you. And then the comments, I will probably turn them back on, but it's going to be a while. Like once I can say that YouTube has agreed that this is okay, then I'll turn them back on.
Now, I will also nicely just remind.
But to turn them on right now with who my audience is, no way.
So here's the thing. For me, I have to also say, a lot of times if comments are turned off, people will go to a different video that has comments turned on to comment. So if people come over to something on my channel to leave a comment based off of this, I'm just going to immediately delete the comment because it has nothing to do with what that video is and it throws everything off.
Yeah, for sure. But, these are things that viewers don't know.
Yeah.
And again, I said before, YouTube does not do a good job of letting the viewers know how the platform even works.
Not at all.
Which further deteriorates their effectiveness because of all the features that they're rolling out that the viewers don't even know exist or how to use them effectively.
My favorite one was, I'm leaving a comment so you can get paid more. Comments don't pay me. But I appreciate you, but comments don't pay.
But the simple fact that YouTube hasn't explained it to the viewers that the shorts have the only link that you can have in a short is related videos and how to use that.
Yeah.
And YouTube has not effectively communicated that to the viewers, probably not even to the creators.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
So that when they see a clip and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, just click the link to the related video and it'll bring you the whole story.
I had to reply to somebody one day.
I think I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
So listening and watching Colin and Samir's podcast. Thanks again, Nate. I don't know what Nate's last name is, but Cara and Nate.
Buchanan.
Really?
Not Buchanan, it's Buchanan.
Really? Okay, Nate Buchanan.
Yeah.
And this interview, because he put me on to this podcast with Ali Abdal, and they talked about entertainment content creators, which I gotta lump Nate into this category. I gotta lump him into this category. Our biggest adventure yet. So you're entertainment, okay?
Yeah.
Never being able to take a break or press pause.
Which is true.
Same, in my opinion, which they didn't say on this podcast, but in my opinion, it's the same with news content creators.
I agree completely. You take a week off and...
The worst part about it is that they're racking their brains to develop, identify the next great adventure that they're going to do, that they're going to then wait and see if anyone cares.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Because if they ask ahead of time.
But, if you ask, you probably won't get a response. It's really weird how that works. But if you do, then you get an opinion.
Yeah.
So it's really crazy. But with the news, the adventures are adventures. I get it, okay? But the news, most of the news out there is manipulated and not true.
I agree.
Then those news content creators, air quotes on creators, then take that fake news and then try to spin it. And then it's just throwing up. You got garbage everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And then you got folks out there clicking on it and liking it and sharing it. And that quadrant, goodbye, y'all.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
But me personally, I want to chat, I want to talk, I want to educate and entertain. If you find it funny, great. But ultimately help people. And these creatives that I watch and listen to, they help me stay focused, get back on track, be better, learn more, identify new opportunities, tech, applications, SaaS. I want to discuss topics that interest me, and perhaps they will resonate with others around the world. And if they do, then they'll watch.
Exactly.
They'll watch. Speak openly and freely without concerns. I was so inspired by Ali Abdaal and how he gave away the secrets. You had your headphones on. He gave away, I think Ronnie watched the entire 40-something minute or longer podcast. He's like, I needed this today. I needed this today. He goes, so
I'll watch the entire thing myself.
he gave away the secrets to his business on the Colin and Samir podcast and how he's on track to make $5 million this year from YouTube. And it makes perfect sense.
I heard him talking about talking about how much you made from views and then sponsors and all that stuff.
It's more than that.
I know.
He goes into literally the framework of how. And like I said, they're giving away these secrets. It's like, careful what you hear because they're being real. These are real people being real about what they're doing. They all know each other. They're all working together.
Yeah.
But, he literally just lays it out there like, this is how I do it. But the best part about it is that most people don't understand what that really means. Like, well, why would you give away the secrets of your business? It's because just because I tell you how to build a car doesn't mean you're going to go do it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to do it. Doesn't mean you're going to do it correctly if you try. Doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it the same way I did it.
Doesn't mean you have the same tools that I have, the same resources.
Yeah.
So you can tell people whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is like super inspiring because it's like there used to be a time where you had to hold it behind a paywall, behind a course, behind whatever you wanted to sell.
Yeah.
It's like now I can tell y'all anything.
Yeah.
I can tell you whatever I want. His business was, I'm going to teach people how to do what I do on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to sell a course if you want to know more. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
It was very, very simple.
Yeah.
But either way, thinking about changing my bio. Maybe I'll change it to helping people, period, laugh more, period.
I like that.
Because I already know how people are going to read it.
Yes.
You're helping people laugh more. Well, you avoided the period in there, but it's cool.
It's cool.
If you misread it,
it's good either way.
Fine.
Yeah.
We are both testing new features on YouTube for increased engagement. And I'm looking forward to reviewing the results after tomorrow's premieres and live streams because we got a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Got a lot going on there.
Yeah, I know.
Again, things that I can tell anybody, right? Do this, that, and the other, right? But can you create the content?
Yeah.
Can you do a live stream? Can you create everything that's needed? If I tell you the framework, though, but can you make it?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
The other thing is completely off topic. The kid wants to watch Dumb Money, and I'm very interested in that one.
Same.
Looking forward to that. Not just because of Pete Davidson, but I just want to see the story. We need to get future guests on the show. I think that's a given. I was on the fence about that, but I want more of that because
you want like a one a week, or are you thinking like one a month?
I just want to be organic
when it can.
Just be organic.
Yeah.
So because I just want the conversation to be normal and chill, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like
there's a camera over there, but don't
it's
even.
like the opportunity to sit and listen to Cara and Nate talk to Matt and Abby.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Yeah.
That's it. The other one being on my list here, that was one of the notes that Ali provided was title, thumbnail, list. You want to make a YouTube video? TTL, title, thumbnail, list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make. Create a title, make a thumbnail, have a list, go from there.
Have a list, make the video, create the title, make the thumbnail. That's for me. I'm backwards.
What was it?
Have the list.
You have the list.
Make the video.
Make the video.
Then create the title and the thumbnail.
Then make the title and then see what YouTube provides as a thumbnail.
And then decide from there. That's what I normally do because I can't title anything because I don't know what I can have my list of the things I want to talk about, but I don't know as I'm talking what's going to pop into my head and out my mouth, and therefore I can't title ahead of time.
And then that makes it even harder to title a live stream.
Yes.
But with that being said, maybe there will be a studio setup.
That would be fun. I got to figure out how to make that.
Maybe there'll be multiple studio setups.
I had an idea.
Maybe there'll be multiple studio setups, or we can keep it fluid. I don't know.
I have an idea, but I'll tell you later. For a studio.
Studio setup could include new mics. I'm not really sure. Do we have to have the Shure SM7Bs to be podcasters? Is that required? Do you have to have that to be a podcast? But either way, that in addition to maybe taking in topic suggestions from subscribers on future videos. But either way, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.